Well, it's definitely an interesting case. I would really like to see the EuroLeague kick off and ultimately, at the end of the day, really decide whether or not they want to make a push, to give it a push, to become the league that everybody wants them to be, at least in the UK. DeanPerreta joins me here right on the Rude Dog Show. Dean, man, thank you so much. Tell everybody where they can find you, your great work, talk about MLS and the EPL, and, of course, the upcoming World Cup in Russia in 2018. Tell everyone where they can find you and all your great work.
Of course. So first and foremost, you can find me on all social media platforms at DeanPerreta, DeanPerreta. And of course, I currently contribute to Fox Sports 96.9 FM 1340 AM, which is in the nation's capital, Washington, D.C. And of course, Babel, which is an incredibly great international sports publication. And by all means, if you head on over to my social media platform, you can find all my work there.
Well, there you go, Dean. Thank you so much. It was great talking. Some MLS, EPL, obviously the BBL, and everything that's going on in the UK right now. Look forward to having you back on at some point.
Rudy, it's been an absolute honor, and thank you so much for your time.
Absolutely. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. We'll talk soon, and this will be posted on the RudeDogShow.com. Make sure you check it out. Great conversation with DeanPerreta. Thanks, Dean. I appreciate it. Take care. Thanks a lot. That was DeanPerreta on the Rude Dog Show, and of course, we're talking all things Euro basketball, MLS, where Manchester City is, the gigantic and monstrous financial gains by a lot of these players. It just kind of makes me look back and chuckle and think to myself, man, I wish I was getting that kind of money, whether we're talking pounds, ounces, U.S. dollars, or any other, maybe some cheese, fedia, I don't know, whatever type of monetary, I don't even think that's a monetary value. But if cheese is a monetary value, I'll take it too, because I like cheese. And I like cheese of all types. So speaking of cheese, and you couldn't get any more cheesy than this. Welcome, Tucker.
Yes.
Dale Booth.
Yes, back up on the mic. What's up? Live. Twitter Periscope. Hello. I see you guys tuning in already. You guys are amazing.
You're going to have to put that in, Twitter Periscope. That should be one word.
Twitter Periscope. It's the same thing to me. It's my Periscope to all of you beautiful people out there.
With Periscope, I can see him at the top of a hill saying, "Yar me tea, shiver me timber." No, you're going to be able to look abroad and have everybody tune in. Tucker Booth joins me.
I'm happy to be back. This is 2 weeks in a row, man. What's going on?
I think this is a starting trend here. I think you're going to flip the script on me, but of course, you are the audio champion. That's why.
Reigning 3-time champion of the Rude Dog Show.
On
like
audio.
The internet, I am unbeaten.
Radio, audio, paper champ, whatever you want to call it. So you can have your 3 minutes of fame, and go ahead.
All right, so first of all, you got to check out TDB Music online, TDB Music. That's the hashtag. It's all over the place. Check us out. Tantrum Niche Records. That's Tantrum, NICHE.com. Tantrum Niche, however you pronounce it. And then also, you definitely need to check out the frozenfoodsection.com. That's where my profile is on the artist profile there under Tucker Booth. And Thumbtack. Come ask for a bid request. Hire me. I am the #1 solo musician entertainer in LA and Orange County, Rudy. Just awarded for the 4th year straight, bro.
Wow, man.
2014 to 2018.
You didn't bring your medal to show or anything?
No. I just brought my golf T-shirt and my Wayfarer shades.
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm here, dude. I'm late. I'm always late.
You're always late, always late.
But at least you have Dean on the show, so I caught the last little bit of DeanPerreta. That's cool. He's calling it from UK.
Yeah. It was kind of interesting. I seen +44, and I think to myself, okay, well, it's not a 900 number. But it is DeanPerreta.
So he lives in UK?
He lives in the UK, and he reports on everything MLS. He does a little British Basketball League.
I saw he's covering MMA, too.
Yeah, he covers MMA. We're talking about Ronda Rousey.
I'm fascinated about MMA, man. I heard about Ronda going to WWE.
WWE.
She and The Rock can go fleece people for their money, dude. That's nice.
Well, The Rock decided to get out of it while getting was good, and look what he's doing now.
Dude, we went and saw Jumanji, so here I can drop a hot, quick movie review.
Boy,
we saw Jumanji, got an 8-year-old, so, we had to, that's the only thing we could see. I was just grateful it wasn't like the Nut Job 3 or whatever, like, that's how I was glad. At least it wasn't some stupid animated film.
That'd be interesting title, to call the movie, the Nut Job 3.
Every kid's movie is the Nut Job 3 these days, man. But anyways, we're back to
like
Jumanji.
A rehash.
Jumanji.
Okay, how was it?
I vaguely remember the Robin Williams movie.
Oh, no, I do.
Vaguely. And I remember I didn't like it that much when I saw it.
I had a total spin on that, and I love that movie.
You like it?
I did. I like the original Jumanji movie.
I love the book. I mean, it's a beloved children's classic by the guy that wrote The Polar Express. I mean, gosh, Jumanji is a legend.
Yeah, no, Jumanji's good. Of course, Robin Williams also a legend in his own right. Other than battling depression and had all types of
you don't make me go watch it. My son saw the Robin Williams with his cousins in San Diego a couple weekends ago, and he said that he thought this one with The Rock was better. That's what he thought.
You're doing this is you're taking something that was a children's book and saying, well, we made a lot of money off of the first one with Robin Williams. Let's see if we can do it again. Look, I'm not a fan of rehash. I barely like hash browns. So
I'm with you.
In a rehash for a movie, there's not very good creative writing going on nowadays. It's all about piggybacking on something else.
Or special effects.
Yeah, or you pull in a lot of CGI things. I'm not a fan of it. Stick to the real. Give me something original. Entertain me because I'm paying $12 to $15 a ticket.
I agree.
Look, I just don't want the popcorn to be that good and the movie not as good.
Well, I'll go to that, Rudy, because I am a
reviews.
curmudgeon when it comes to movie reviews. I don't even give 5-star reviews. I've never given 5 stars. I feel like to earn a 5-star, you have to be the perfect film, and I haven't seen that yet.
Right.
So on a 4-star scale, with 4 being like a hard-earned awesome, I would give this a hard-fought 2.5. And I say that because anytime I come in expecting not to like it and you exceed expectation, that bumps it up. So there's the half right there. There's the half star.
Oh, okay. Well,
two was formulaic, like the same old kind of plot that is going to happen. There's no surprises there. The special effects are great, but you know what? We live in an age of great special effects. It's not that impressive anymore when every Star Wars and every spinoff of such has amazing CGI. But I will give it up. The actors, the main people, and that's where you got to go on something like this. Rock, Jack Black, Kevin Hart, right? They're the big 3.
Yeah.
All of them were pretty endearing. And I would say none of them are great actors. We know this. But Jack Black did a very good job in this. He's trying to play like his inner 16-year-old hot chick. It's like a grown fat man doing his inner hot chick. That was pretty funny. Kevin Hart was above average. I don't always like him. In fact, I usually don't like him. I thought he was pretty endearing. The Rock, what can you say about The Rock? I mean, dude, but there's the laugh, Rudy. It's always about the previews when you see a big hit film like this, right? And the previews are all the ones I've seen in every other kid's film I've got to, except for one.
Right.
There's a new Rock film. And check it out. Here's the plot. Like you couldn't see this one coming. Okay. This is the Rock preview right before Jumanji, right? Okay, here we go. The Rock is in the jungle, and he meets a gorilla, and they become good friends. He and the gorilla go back to society, but something happens where some sort of meteor hits, and the gorilla is exposed to meteor radiation, which makes him freakishly grow in size. Also, other wildlife were affected by this meteor strike, including a wolf and a crocodile.
Imagine
Check it out. It's the Rampage video game come to life. Like Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle wasn't enough.
Right.
Let's double dip and re-bring Rampage back to this. Like that game needs a rehash, dude.
No, it doesn't. And in all fairness, The Rock, when he first started, really intrigued me because he's somebody different. He's somebody who does things differently. But he ends up turning into this, and again, the storyline doesn't help the case here. And in all fairness, I think The Rock, if you're listening, I really think you should pick different movies to be in.
Shout out to Dwayne.
Yeah, Mr. Dwayne.
No, I give respect. Anybody who started out wrestling in flea markets for, hustle money and is where he's at.
I get it.
Dude.
I get it. It's like the ShamWow guy. He did have his 1-bedroom apartment.
But I think he's got more talent than the ShamWow guy. Come on, Rudy.
Well, hey, look, the Rock has his own ShamWow, okay? He may have a collection
kind
of them.
shape is ShamWow to me. What supplements are you taking?
Well,
Doc?
okay, so it could be Shamrock. Anyway, I
go,
like that. You're one
MMA
bedroom apart. I like you
double
twist
too.
that in there, right? So you got a Shamwell in his back pocket.
Hey, speaking of Irish cheating Super Bowl teams, dude, do you know that there's a new acronym for Patriots? That the word Patriots is now broken into an acronym?
Yeah. Pathetic attempt.
Pay all the refs.
Yeah. Or pathetic attempt to
pay all the refs in order to win Super Bowl. I don't even know. I couldn't even get the acronym off correctly. But
I never put that in either. I never shared it.
You saw the reports. You saw the links about Brady's acceptance speech and the lackey getting photographed with it.
Yeah.
So, okay, folks, let's just admit it out loud. The NFL and Tom Brady made a decision before this season that they were going to rectify his and their image all at once, because that is exactly what's happening here. The NFL took it on the chin because the Patriots cheated and got outed hard. The NFL took it on the chin because of all the demonstrations this year and all the political uproar that went along with it, and battling Trump and everything else that happened there. And they're starting to lose sponsors, or at least have sponsors threaten to leave because they're seeing ratings decline. Dude, if you don't think that they're not conspiring with the Patriots to make this Super Bowl a reality and make Tom Brady look snuggly again and rewrite the story that he's the GOAT and forget about all the shit that he did to get there, but he's the GOAT. Dude, that they photographed his acceptance speech. He knew this like a week before they announced. It's supposed to be like a week.
I'm not, okay, look, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I don't play the part. I don't even play one on TV. Not even on Facebook Live. Okay, so
I'm not a conspiracist. I don't play one on TV. Don't call my house.
And I don't even get paid for it either.
Right, okay.
So you can put that on the curb and put it out to recycle. Okay, so you can come by and pick it up. However, I do believe that there was some other Facebook stuff, and you can't always believe what you're the realist here. So you know what? I don't believe everything I read. I don't believe everything that I hear, and so you have to be very subjective, and you can't necessarily take everything that everybody else says or social media postings. There was one floating around there, and I can't believe it was even floating. I can't believe I was even tagged in it. But in either case, Freddie, you know who you are. The tag was
Freddie.
Yeah, Freddie. Freddie, you're bringing the nightmare to reality. So Freddie posts something saying, and it was like this hodgepodge cut and paste and a video edited montage of how the Patriots had cheated to get Super Bowl 50. Okay, again, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. Right, from the onset. That's what this whole thing was about. Okay, let's move past that. Let's just move past that. I'm tired of talking about conspiracy theories.
You know what it is?
It reminds me of that commercial.
It's like government, the thing we're never supposed to talk about on here, Rudy. But you know what? We'll just make a brief comparison, because Trump and Tom Brady are friends. So we can even keep this in sports.
So is Ben Roethlisberger and Donald Trump.
Okay. Make America Great hat in his locker. Okay. We know these guys are friends. Okay. So let's go there. Just like our president, who I'm not saying is great or bad. So if you're watching out there, hail Trump if you love him. I'm not, whatever. Okay. However, there are strong feelings that are generated when I say the name Donald Trump, more so than any president I can remember, and there have been some polarizing presidents. Yeah. So when you say the name Donald Trump, people get very emotional, either way, or maybe more than two ways, but at least, two very polarized ways.
I don't know any other ways.
They really dig it where they really don't. Tom Brady and the Patriots have reached that critical mass, peeps. That's why I'm making the comparison here. To people like me from St. Louis who watched that 2001 Super Bowl, Rudy, and I'm going there. Tucker, quit living in the past. All right. Well, you know what? It's kind of like a breakup. If you break up with somebody, Rudy, and you never, ever take credit for anything that you did, and you publicly disavow all the things you surely did to cheat them, how can you get over that as the spurned partner? I guess if you just figure out how to forgive and live and let live and, work on yourself, but they never, ever, ever take accountability for it. Never, ever, all the way to the grave. How do you truly forgive that person? And I go back to this team. We know they stole all our plays. We know they dressed up in outfits and costumes, pretending to be ESPN cameramen so they could steal all our plays. And they still only beat us by a field goal at the buzzer. So I want an asterisk put on that Super Bowl. I've wanted it ever since 2001, and people think I'm a codger for talking about it. Hey, man, whatever. Tom Brady's handsome. Let it go. Jeez, Kurt Warner looks like an old leather couch. No one cares. That's the problem, is that Tom Brady sells Wheaties boxes, bro. And Kurt Warner was old and was a turtle in the pocket. That's why they didn't care.
Well, here, look, bottom line is this.
What grinds my gears, Rudy?
Really? Could you tell? Man. How do you feel? How do you really feel, Tucker? Okay, so let's take that a step further. So Kurt Warner, insurance salesman, worked at a grocery, bagging goods.
Not handsome like Tom Brady.
Well, I mean everybody has their
man.
opinion about
I'm not
what
the world's
he
like
looks
foremost
like.
authoritarian on a handsome man, but he's fine looking. But I wouldn't call him Tom Brady handsome.
Well, okay, look, potato, and the fact that the fact that neither one of them look like a potato or a potato means that they ended up winning a Super Bowl.
They both sell Wheaties, bro. I'm saying Kurt Warner sold Wheaties
and they
boxes.
did, and there are no other flavors of Wheaties, just for those that don't know or never tasted Wheaties in a box or in a bowl or whatever that. Okay, so
I feel like Wheaties conspired to make that Super Bowl.
So you're talking about a Wheaties conspiracy?
They said we don't want the old guy.
So
with the gray hair.
forget making a different flavor. Let's just let's contribute to each individual quarterback in our own respective way to get them to win a Super Bowl, so we can put them on our box and make even more money.
Brady looks like Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt morphed in the face, bro. As far as photogenic. That guy could be in GQ. He is in GQ. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not like some schlumpy-looking quarterback or Drew Brees with a big old saber scar down his face or someone else where they're having to work around his photogenic side. Let's be real. He's like Giselle. Let's go to his wife. They're the same in that regard. They're the same in that regard. People want to look at their faces, bro, and they want to buy stuff that these people endorse. I'm not even kidding.
Okay, look. Bottom line, in the industry, in any industry, entertainment, sports, you have to be marketable. That's how you sell things. The TB12 brand from Tom Brady is something that's completely marketable, and he's making a lot of money doing it. Forget winning Super Bowl trophy. Had he have not won anything but one, but one. Let's just say he won one. Still extremely marketable based on that value and that value alone. Simply because he has the look and he's selling it to the maximum. Dude, the guy will never have to win anything ever again, even at bingo. You would never have to win in order to be marketable. That's just the bottom line. So let's fast forward through that because we recognize Tom Brady marketable. Will he win this Super Bowl? The jury's out. The Vegas bettors are on point, and they're really making a case.
Where we're going to look, Rudy, is we're going to look at the flags because Titans friends of mine are already grousing about it from the playoffs, and my buddies that like Jacksonville were talking about it, and I've looked at the stats. In the second half of that Jacksonville Jaguars championship game, it was like 10 flags against Jags and 1 against Pats. Now, granted, that could just be the way it was. The Jags got real penalty happy, and the Pats played flawless football for the entire second half. However, that seems to happen a lot with the Patriots. Again, go back and look at the stats for all these games. Go back and look specifically at penalties and compare in crucial moments who gets more. Pats always get the benefit of the doubt, man. So for this game against Eagles, who people think are the heavy favorites, at least if they're not by Vegas odds, in a lot of people's eyes they are because they got a stacked D. The Pats, again, have Swiss cheese O-line. So, again, if this goes the Pats' way, look at the penalties called. If the penalties are a disparity, guaranteed the refs are in on this, man. Guaranteed.
Well, there was a photo, and again, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but there was a photo of the referee throwing cheers with a bunch of these players on the field.
Dude. Man, he's giving them bumps. This is like moments after the game. He's coming over and trying to be cool with them and giving them bumps.
Well, look, I'm just saying that if you're a referee and you're a fan of that team, if you're a fan, you have no business reffing that game. No,
or at least keep it
blind judge,
to yourself
head judge,
while you're there, bro. Keep it to yourself because the fan, it's a bad look. You know what I mean?
This is a professional image that the NFL is being frowned on, and nobody's really talking about. No one's bringing it up. No one's saying, you know what, this is an issue that we really need to address. If you're a referee for any other Super Bowl, AFC Championship game, NFC Championship game, or any other playoff game, if you're and the evaluation should definitely occur, that if you're a referee, head judge, line judge, and you're experiencing moments of giddiness or, oh my gosh, this is my favorite team, you're gone. There should not be any question whatsoever. Why? Because that obscures your logic. That obscures your ability to call the game fair, and that's the bottom line. That's the flat-out truth. I've interviewed tons of players. I've interviewed Steeler players because I'm a Steelers fan.
Sure.
But that doesn't mean that I can't be objective. That just means that I have no business coaching a game that the Steelers are in.
Well, it's interesting because I think about the ref scandals in other sports. There was Tim Donaghy in the NBA who was, betting on stuff and was embroiled with the mob and all this. So he started calling games the ways that the mob wanted him to for spread and other reasons.
Right.
Point shaving. you know, Donaghy blew a loud whistle and still does. His book is out there. You can buy it on Amazon.
Yeah.
NBA battled hard to keep that one off the shelves, but in it, he talks about that this isn't just him, it's a culture. Yeah. And, you know, I believe that the NFL being the most valuable and profitable league on the planet as far as pro sports goes, at least television ratings wise and, you know, endorsements, sponsorship wise, there's a lot of money invested by those sponsors in making sure press goes away. So when we talk about fake news or whatever in sports, fake news is when Papa John or CenturyLink or whoever makes sure that something goes away because they want to keep selling TV plans. They want to keep selling pizzas. They want to keep selling Bud Light. If they stop selling that stuff, then it doesn't matter who's playing in the Super Bowl. If Jacksonville's playing the Rams, they're screwed.
Yeah.
They need this to be a dynasty like the Patriots, which have their diehard lovers and haters. Like I said, Trump-like polarization there. So that gets people that equally want to tune in to cheer for and against them. They're heels to anyone but their fans. And then, of course, you need a new team, Rudy. I said this last week. You need a new market. You need one that's been suffering. You need a true underdog, something you can brand that way. Fly, Eagles, fly. You guys have sucked for a long time. Yeah, Philly, you got crazy fans, but you're back in the Super Bowl. Dude, that's a story. That's something you can brand.
The story itself, now, to kind of go retro, last year, covered the ESPYs, talked to Malcolm Jenkins, defensive back for the Eagles. We're talking about the record that they had that year. He says, man, I don't want to talk about that. He says, it's all about this year. And I said, okay, that's fair. I said, so what are your expectations? What are your hopes? What are you looking to have contributed to as a part of that defense? And he says, we're going to have a better record and we'll be in the playoffs. So that was his meaning. That's what I gained from him. Now, does every player feel that way in the NFL? If not, they should. If not, they should. And if they are not, then they should be, gone because they're not contributing and giving 110% to their respective position throughout the NFL on any given team. Now,
I just think most owners are lazy, man. I mean, we were talking about ownership a couple times ago when I was on here when we had your caller. And I remember the whole point was we were talking about Pittsburgh's ownership since you guys love Steelers. Pittsburgh's ownership is pretty good. You know, it's solid. It's above average. So, of course, Pittsburgh has stayed a relevant football team for like 40 years, man. They don't always win, but they're always in the combo. They're always usually in the playoffs. They're usually a tough out for whoever goes on, even if they don't get it. And they'll go on runs, too, where they nip a couple in a row or a couple in a couple-year span or whatever. And all through the decades. Great ownership, right? I think most of these owners are just lazy, man. I think Pat's owners got real motivated to put that brand on the map. Real motivated, more than they had been in the 90s or any other era when they were kind of competitive, but not truly.
They were sort of, and that's where Robert Kraft comes into play because he helped make them relevant. He had the money, of course, of Kraft, lore, but he helped a lot more of a boost from a morale standpoint, hiring Bill Belichick, making all the right moves, getting Matt Patricia, and of course Daniels. They're both gone.
Or knowing when to get rid of Drew Bledsoe, knowing when to move on. I mean, if I'm giving them any credit, boy, Drew Bledsoe was an overpriced albatross for them. I mean, he got close, but he obviously wasn't going to get him over the top.
Yeah, you're right, and it was a horrible contract. But the best thing that could have happened to him, same thing you can have a conversation talking about the Steelers when Tommy Maddox went down. Here comes Ben Roethlisberger. And enters Tom Brady. So here comes Tom Brady.
Well, they drafted shrewdly.
And they did. And they did.
Wasn't Tom like 5th or 6th round? I mean, he wasn't a first rounder.
No. And Ben was also a low rounder as well. So when you look at the comparables of where these guys were drafted and what they mean so much more now to the franchise than when they first entered the field based on injury from the previous quarterback under center, Tom Brady has done it. He's done it. Now, you're talking about asterisks. You can put the asterisks out there. You can say, you know what, Tom Brady threw your phone away when you shouldn't have. You put it in the grinder.
That's pretty damning when you're talking about Tom, because these people that want to defend him, the mass holes as they like to call themselves, the mass holes, they always want to go, hey, everybody cheats, Tucker. Everybody cheats. Come on. And I go, okay. If my team, the Rams, has ever been outed that large for cheating, which they have not, but if they ever are publicly outed in the way ESPN ran, like outside the line specials on the Patriots, if they get to that point, I will publicly come on this show, Rudy, and say, shame on them. I'm very disappointed. it's hard to even root for them until I see some significant changes in the culture. I will not support that. I would never want my son to emulate that type of behavior, etc. I would say that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you very well should. Every aspect of what your kids or kid should or should not see is based on what you introduce them to. So let's kind of switch gears here, because I want to kind of bring LeBron James into this conversation.
All right. Another guy that loves to not take accountability.
Well, he wants to pass the buck to everybody else. And I was talking to DeanPerreta at the onset of the show, talking about how LeBron James was able to get David Blatt fired. I haven't openly talked about this, but that's exactly what happened. So he went to the front office and said, you know what, David Blatt, ex-nay on the Basketball Bay OTK, kick him out. So he exits, enter Tyronn Lue, ends up winning a championship, right? So now you have LeBron James being asked by Juju Smith-Schuster, USC, first-year wide receiver for the Steelers, you should come over and play football. Could he be a dual team? But before you answer that, I want to throw this. I want to put the wrench inside of the turning engine. LeBron James, a catalyst for winning, yes. A catalyst for building team camaraderie, as well as a dynamic that will help other people grow, not so much. Now, enter that into football. Same thing, same attitude, same identity, same personality.
He's every wide receiver on every NFL team that's got a good wide receiver.
a lot of them. He reminds me of an Odell Beckham Jr. in the sense that he brings that type of, it's all about me, because I'm the star and you're not. And when you put me on your team, I make your team better. And that is true. For all intents and purposes, what LeBron James and what he brought to Miami Heat, winning a ring, Cavaliers, winning a ring. There's been a lot of rumors talking about him coming out to Los Angeles, play with the Lakers. He openly admitted, you know what, not going to happen. It's not. It's all rumor. Now, anything involving LeBron James, for all intents and purposes, from a PR standpoint, you have to really ask yourself, is there some validity in that? Is there some type of honesty in that could very well happen, and Juju Smith-Schuster could end up getting his wish granted?
I think LeBron is the new millennial icon, or if you want to call him iconoclast, if you don't think it's endearing, then you call him iconoclast. But I would say icon, because he's a global brand representative of the NBA and all sports. I'd say nowadays, if you really look at the numbers, Rudy, he is probably the most marketable athlete on the planet. Now, you could probably put Brady or a couple NFL guys in that discussion as well. There are, a couple other athletes from other sports, Olympians, etc., that have that kind of, I don't know, maybe Michael Phelps or something, trying to think about brand recognition or whatever. But again, maybe Tiger Woods. But we're putting him in the conversation with Tiger Woods, Michael Phelps, Michael Jordan. I mean, you are that marketable of a brand.
Right.
So because you know that, because Brady knows that, we'll throw him in the metaphor here too, you can meddle with the team.
Yeah.
You can go and make demands of ownership because you know you're the face of the team. You know you're putting butts in the seats. What was it, Chris Paul, after that chippy game back in L.A. with the Rockets and Clippers, and the refs give him the text or whatever, and he goes, yeah, everybody pays to come see the refs. I mean, when you're Chris Paul level, you can say something like that to the press, and we'll forgive you because it's true. If you said that and you were not him, you were Trevor Ariza, we'd be disappointed in you. But when you're Chris Paul, you're right. You got people coming with your jersey on. You got little kids there that are like your biggest fan.
Right.
I mean, LeBron literally has a vote. I would say most of these guys do not. But again, it's like families nowadays. That's why I called him the millennial icon. Gosh, in our parents' generation, Rudy, if you talk back to your parents about anything, if you question your parents'
God
authority,
help you.
If you question your parents' authority, if you question a coach's authority,
if
you're an athlete, they're all Bobby Knight. They all went bananas, dude. They can smack you. They can strike down on you with great vengeance.
Don't forget moving the chairs.
Now, if a millennial questions their parents are like, do we need to get back in the share circle and learn a little more about this? I mean, this is the culture that LeBron is growing up in. And he didn't have a great family home life.
Right. No,
he was a basketball kid. That's all he did.
Yeah.
So he is a true millennial icon. And I mean, I don't even mean to trash millennials by that statement. You guys have grown up in a different world, kids.
It's very different. But here's $1 million, or in his sake, the multi-million-dollar question. Whether or not LeBron James can find a way to be the catalyst, not the detractor, the catalyst to help bring unity to not only this team, just forget this team for a minute that he's on, because he's kind of gotten to a point where he's putting that aside and saying, you know what, I want to go somewhere else.
Right.
This is where I don't want to be anymore, and I want to be somewhere else. Let's say that in some fashion, in some manner, he turns humility on. Let's just say he flips the switch. Starts becoming this PR guy everybody loves, everyone wants to talk about, stock rises, obviously. Does he find himself out of Cleveland?
I think that there's always been a clear desire for him to go different places. I don't even mean to like do the whole he hates Cleveland or he loves Cleveland debate. And I think there's still a lot of awkward feelings there. I've said that on the show before. I think there are awkward feelings towards the owner. I don't think that riff has totally been mended. I do think it was a political decision to come back, to show the state that he cared, to show him he could drag him up the mountain, to put Ohio on the map where he's from, because he cares about Ohio more than he cares about that owner. And, of course, that owner is a well-documented, not good person. I mean, Quicken Loans, just
like how you said
go Google Quicken Loans and read for yourselves. No, it's a predatory company. So you got a predatory owner of a predatory company that said really shady things about dude because he wanted to move on at the end of a contract and go win a championship with his buddies that he came up with. Like any of us, and that's the thing, fans, and we already know this, Rudy, but I'm going to say this. There are fans and there are fanatics. So I'm speaking specifically to the fans, meaning rational thinking people, not the fanatics, not the crazy folks, okay? This is for the fans. If somebody leaves, even if you really love them, even if they were the most crucial piece of the puzzle for your championship squad or your favorite, year that they were on the team, and because their contract has expired and they would like to test the waters elsewhere, that does not mean they're a bad person. That does not mean they have betrayed you or the memory of that championship or your city or any other loyalty that you may think emotionally at that moment that they're betraying. That is them being interested in life. That is them looking other places for other opportunities.
Absolutely. That
is called stimulating their mind. If you were in their boat, you would absolutely want to consider those things. Remember that. If we were lucky enough to be this guy that came from nothing to all that he has, we would want to go and live in Miami too. We would want to say, okay, I'm done here and go somewhere else. And we would want to be able to finish off maybe somewhere else. And I think for him, he wants to be bigger than Mike. He said this all along, Rudy. That's where I was going with this. He wants to be a bigger icon than Mike. He wants to be known as a better basketball player than Mike. Those are huge ambitions. I don't think he'll ever be known as a better basketball player. That's simple wins and losses and finals. Most people are going to judge you by your chips.
Right.
But he can end up being a bigger global basketball icon than Mike. Kobe already challenged Mike there.
Right.
Kobe's so big in China, I'd say Mike is debatably the second biggest guy over there now. Kobe's a bigger star over in China than Mike.
Right.
So LeBron has seen the formula from Kobe. Kobe did look like little Mike, and Mike even admitted that Kobe is the closest thing he's ever seen, and LeBron's next on the line.
Right.
So if he can win another ring, and then if he can go to one more place and put them back on the map, and that means win a ring. Kind of like Tiger. It's all about majors now. You got to win chips. There's no more getting to the finals anymore.
No, not at all. You can talk about Peyton Manning, too. You put Peyton Manning in that conversation. He did it with the Indianapolis Colts.
Right.
And he did it with the Denver Broncos.
So he's one of the all-time greats because he did it, and he did it when he was old, and he did it when he was young.
And by the way, he is a nice guy. Just
right. I know. You love putting that profile picture.
It's there. He's a great guy. But look, bottom line is this. LeBron James, just like any other great athlete, okay, fine. You talk about how Michael Jordan was. He was one of the greatest of all time. No dispute, no refute for me whatsoever. Sure. However, look at the types of things that he did outside of basketball. Not very good. Tiger in golf, fantastic.
Human being
outside. Yeah. And again, we all have our human characteristics that makes us turn on the switch when it's all good and it's showtime. But after that, dim the lights, put on the lava lamp, and things are going down that shouldn't be.
Right.
I'm just saying it doesn't happen to every single player, and I'm not picking on players out there, but what I am saying is that you have those two different types of dynamics. It was what you grew up not having to be reflected of. Now look at what you have. So drop the guard, put on the humility tie.
Right.
I should probably be wearing one, but I'm not. But put on the humility tie. Of course, I have one that matches the shirt. But really pair it together. Make it work for you. Take the humility stance and say, you know what? Okay, I know I need to give back. I know I need to be a better person. I know I need to do a lot better, not including the sport. When you do that, you put yourself in a conversation with guys like Muhammad Ali, which I believe truly one of the greatest athletes of all time. And there's a lot of reasons behind that.
I would absolutely argue that too.
He put himself to jail because he didn't believe in doing what somebody else wanted him to do. He did it in the boxing ring against many, many greats, Marciano. There's so many other guys that he just pummeled with the rope of dope and so on and so forth. So bottom line is that when you recognize that you're fighting for something bigger than yourself or bigger than your wallet, you tend to do a lot better things for other people. So fine, so be it. That makes you look bigger and better on a bigger screen. But what it does do is it gives you more marketability, more global awareness. Now, from the onset, Michael Jordan was great off of the basketball court, but when he received higher accolades, when his money started increasing, popularity started increasing, everybody's wearing Jordans at the time. You probably owned a pair. I didn't. I was too poor for that.
I used to. I got mine at the outlet mall, by the way. I got my $30 outlet knockoffs from the Olympic Dream Team.
Wherever you get it, you go. Hey, I'll take it. It probably didn't fit me anyway.
I wouldn't want it if I did. I played my freshman basketball in a pair of knockoff outlet mall Jordans, dude.
There you go. Hey, no one's gonna know the difference when you're moving at 5-10 miles an hour. So.
Hey, $30. That's that Jordan price I can live with. Dude.
$30 and a holla on the court. So
Space Jam.
If these guys recognize we're talking about LeBron James specifically going over to Los Angeles, even if that was to be a reality, even if that was to actually happen, I think LeBron James, you could certainly make a case for him helping them and the Lakers winning a ring.
It's a branding thing. Again, I'm just harping on the word branding today, but
it's true.
It is, because he knows branding very, very well. Look no further than how he represents himself with his advertising and the companies that he's aligned with. He's going for broadest, universal, global appeal. He's the Rock. We're already talking about it. Yeah. He's doing the Rock approach. You want to be selling insurance. You want to be selling, Sprite. You want to be selling G-rated stuff that everyone from a child to grandpa will want.
You're right.
You don't want to just get some markets. You want all markets.
Yeah, you want a variety of markets. You want to diversify what you do and who you do it for. But in that, watch out where you do it.
Well, and where he does it is he tries Twitter. And I will say, he's getting better. I follow along. He's getting better. He's getting better at playing up the positives and keeping all the Phil Jackson subshade to a minimum.
Right.
Now, granted, that's what we do on social media, and I'll defend it for a minute. This is the new way that we vent. We vent digitally, and LeBron has nowhere else to go except for the cameras or his family, and of course, they're going to love him coming home and blasting off about stuff every night.
Exactly.
So it's either that, there, or Twitter, or wherever,
Right.
I don't hate him for doing any of the tweets he's done. None of it's been that aggressive. We're not talking about Shaq and JaVale McGee calling each other bum, and, house nigga and all that. That's terrible.
Yeah.
But we'll move back to what he's good about. He's a branding icon, iconoclast if you don't like him, but definitely an icon. And what he represents is universal global brand appeal. Now I go back to LA. Besides the Knickerbockers, who have definitely gone down many, many pegs as far as universal respect, based on many years of inept ownership and results on the court.
Right.
Lakers have only been somewhat irrelevant. Even in these years when they don't do well, people tune in to watch them because it's a global brand that matters.
Right.
Besides Celtics or the Warriors or Cavs or, Heat. Those Spurs, those are the brand names. I mean, that's it.
Right.
That's the NBA's brand.
Right.
All those other teams are just wishing they had that kind of brand appeal. And the Lakers, of course, I'd say still, the minute that LeBron jumps to our team, it's on. They will drop everything and get him whatever he wants. You want to talk about a guy that's got a full vote and everything, he'll be Kobe right off the bat.
Well, here's the thing.
Pelinka is Kobe's guy.
Yeah.
If they brought him in, Kobe would call him up and be like, do whatever he tells you. Just do it.
Yeah. If that conversation could be had, I could see LeBron in Los Angeles. Somebody needs to have a conversation with Magic Johnson. I'm just saying.
They just got to gut some of this young talent. And the thing is, this young talent isn't bad. It's just they're mismanaging it. And that's where Luke Walton can be criticized. And, I know Lonzo's dad is always having headlines for talking smack on everyone. But I think, LeVar Ball hit it on the head there. LeVar, you got this one accurate, sir. Walton comes from a culture that's already developed. It'd be like if Bill Belichick moves over and tries to bring up the Buccaneers real quick or something. You have to change a culture. You have leaders that are boneheads versus Tom Brady. You have people on that team that are out of control in their personal lives. You have a lot of stuff you got to shore up real quick. And Luke is cool, but he's also a little older, and he's also already been to the mountaintop. Steve Kerr's already told him all the secrets. That makes you more mature, which also doesn't always translate to relevance with the millennials like we're talking about.
Right.
So I think there's two approaches. You either bring up millennials and do the drafting strategy, and people go, well, the Warriors were very shrewd. They've drafted wise, and then they also brought in some guys. Yeah, that works. Or you can just do what the Lakers always do. Bring in a big guy, cut everyone else, trade them for draft picks or whatever they're worth, and then start dealing those to get the cap space you need to bring in a big 3 or 4, because that's how you do it anymore. And the thing is, dude, if Boogie hadn't gone down, you know LeBron gets Boogie. Even without Boogie, we'll find someone of Boogie's proportions that'll come in and be the big guy.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they'll find one other shooter, or maybe we got him. Maybe it's Brandon Ingram. I don't know. We'll figure out who it is, and they'll go to war with that squad.
Well, they really need to figure out who's the go-to guy on that Lakers squad. Is it Kuz? Is it Kyle Kuzma? Great assist guy. He's coming into his own, drafted by the Lakers. Then you have Lonzo. Also,
got to keep both of them.
Yeah, you definitely keep them. Brandon Ingram.
Ingram's a chip. There's a chip right there.
Yeah,
you can trade him.
Yeah. He's definitely a pawn. I think there's a lot of rumors surrounding where he could end up before the trade deadline.
He could get traded up the coast. You could trade him up to Sac. You could trade him all kinds of places that are nearby that he probably wouldn't be upset about.
The problem is that when you trade something, you expect something back in return. If you're giving up somebody for a draft pick, then make sure it's just a draft pick.
Well, there's always money.
Well, you can
just get a big pile of money.
Give them monetary incentives, save the money, get to the next draft, grab a guy in the lottery, and call it a day.
Because we talk about, we'll go to football again. We talk about Elway. The thing that we mentioned about Elway is that good years are bad. He's always looking for the big splash. Magic Johnson is similar to John Elway in that way. That's why I compare them. They're both legends in their game. They've got prestige that transcends the team.
Right.
Because they're like the GOATs of their games.
Right.
People want to hang with these guys because it's John Elway, because it's Magic Johnson, you know?
Exactly.
It's not Rob Pelinka or whoever owns the Broncos. It's those guys.
Right.
I think Magic is a little trigger happy because he wanted to show that he was willing to get busy, because Laker fans were sick and tired of Mitch sitting on his thumbs. We were sick and tired of old man Byron Scott coaching style. We were sick of it. We needed something new. They wanted us to see that they're trying to be like the Warriors in this new wave of doing things. But you go back to it. The Warriors drafted smart, and Steph panned out. They had to wait on Steph. Steph got hurt. They weren't sure about Steph. They didn't want to give Steph big money. Steph was the most underpaid superstar for a while. So they had to really kind of play their cards right on Steph. And that was luck. We're not getting as lucky with Ingram. Maybe if we stick with him, he pans out. But right now, he's still a chip. He's young. There's a ton of upside on him. Put him on another team. He could lead that team right now. Put him on Milwaukee with Giannis or whatever. Those guys go to war.
Oh, man. It would be nuts to see. Because Brandon, he's such a big body. He's rather athletic. I wouldn't say he's super athletic. But again, sometimes there are upsides to players that just don't exist. You may, as a coach, in your mindset, you know what? You have the biggest upside on the planet. You can be good in the paint. You can block out the shots. You can rotate over. Athletically, another player can do it. I don't know that Brandon Ingram has that capability to do it. I'm not saying he can't, but maybe Luke Walton is not the guy to help him get to that level.
Whereas you put LeBron in the same slot that Ingram would play in that offense at 3, and Luke Walton and him are like old buddies. I mean, they kick around the same parties and stuff. These guys are friends.
The same circle. Right.
That's like bringing in Tyron. That's bringing in a buddy. That's bringing in a peer for him.
Right. Exactly.
LeBron's totally chilling with that. He doesn't need to change coaches there. There's no power struggle there. That's Luke Walton, who is Bill Walton's kid and who was on the Warriors and stuff. He understands the cachet that Luke brings to the coaching table now.
He does, and that's where Luke Walton's maturity level and where he will be may not be where he's at right now. I see him doing better. I see him becoming a better coach, a better person in the sense that being able to relate to these guys. You know what, man? I've been the third wheel. I get it.
Right.
I understand Luke Walton didn't play a ton of minutes, but when he did, he was effective in those minutes. wasn't the superstar by any means, and obviously never will be in Laker lore. However, he'll also be known as the Lakers head coach. So now Lakers are facing an uphill battle, trying to make the determination who's going and who's staying. So when you talk about LeBron James in the insertion factor, and just merely that alone, Brett Ingram could be a great pawn. It depends on how many teams you want to get involved in that trade to make that a reality. Now,
I'm saying just get him out. I'm saying Magic knows. That's why I brought him up.
Right, he does.
Get him out. It may not look like the trade that you want. It's kind of like Belichick trading Jimmy for a second-round pick or something. People are scratching their head now. Granted, Belichick was shading a bit with that. But still, Belichick understands it's not always a straight line to how the system works there with getting rid of someone to make a team better.
Right.
Just get them out, get what you can in return, but know that the bigger splash is you just open up a ton of money that you're going to have to pay Ingram next time around because rookie contract's about up.
Exactly.
You're freeing up all that cap space.
Yeah.
And that's glorious cap space to go get who LeBron wants to load up this squad to go to war. Well, you're going to have to get who he wants or he's not going to be happy.
And again, it goes back to LeBron James being the catalyst, getting a sense of humility, recognizing that that is more important than getting somebody fired. Because what that does is that flips the script back on you. So you know what? I need to be a different person. I need to approach this differently, and I could do something much better than what you think I can. So it's a matter of actions speak louder than words. Speaking of action, there's a lot of action tomorrow. A lot of action.
We've been kind of dancing around Super Bowl except for kicking the Patriots in the Nets for a while, dude.
That's where we're going. No,
the Patriots deserve to be regularly flogged for their transgressions.
Flogged?
Flogged.
I put my flogger away.
Oh,
and I did for this segment. So
Tom enough, I guess.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know how that goes or if it ever happens.
50 Shades of Tom.
Okay, or don't you mean 12? Anyway, so here we are, New England Patriots taking on the Philadelphia Eagles in the U.S. Bank Stadium in Minneapolis, Minnesota tomorrow. The Vikings wanted to be there so badly. But will they be there? Yes, I think they'll be Vikings there despite not being able to play at home. But let's say that for another show. However,
did I call that though, Rudy? I said the Vikings always choke in a big game. Boy, if they have not made a historic tradition in my lifetime of always choking in that game, until you guys get over that hump, I'm going to keep saying it.
Okay, bottom line is this. Seen a post saying that these were the Vikings of the History Channel. And they're saying, what's it like to be in the Super Bowl? I don't know, son. We're Vikings. So I'm going to leave it at that. So here we are, Philadelphia Eagles taking on the New England Patriots. Patriots obviously open up as the favorites. In Vegas, the line is okay. It's marginal. It's marginal. But the bottom line is that the New England Patriots are going to face a very stiff Philadelphia Eagle defense with the aforementioned Malcolm Jenkins we were talking about earlier in the show, who's going to have a monumental task of not only covering Gronkowski, but Amendola. So with that,
plus that formidable Eagles offense with Nick Foles.
So Nick Foles is winning. He's winning. Continues winning. Cinderella game, Cinderella story.
I've eaten some humble pie, Rudy, but let me.
I'm going to see you dive in a little bit more of that. You need some whipped cream
Eagles
too.
Eagles never ever get to the Super Bowl with Nick Foles. I said that about a month ago. Right,
yeah. Eat up, chew, gobble, gobble.
So it tastes like shame.
Tastes like shame.
I love you, Nick. I didn't even hate you. You're from the Rams. I've said this to you, but the problem is that I'm going to judge you under the lens of when you were on my squad, and when you were on the squad. On the Rams, Nick, you were not very impressive. You know, much like
don't forget
Ryan
who the coach was.
Much like Ryan Fitzpatrick went on and was much more impressive with the Jets in future years than he was with us. Other quarterbacks have had this same trajectory. Maybe the Rams are like the farm team for a lot of guys that go on to be better somewhere else. Bradford, whoever. But I'm just saying, when you're on our team, I don't see it.
Well, the bottom line is that now the Eagles are the Knowles Rams, now in the Philadelphia uniform and under center. I think Philadelphia, from a point differential, in this game at least, from a compacted version of this, I've said it this morning on CBS Radio with Rich Perez. I've said it to various people who've asked me, well, who are you picking? Who are you picking? And I say, okay, look, New England Patriots, let's bring reality here. New England Patriots have won by at least 2 touchdowns in the last couple of Super Bowls. Now, with that being said, I think Philly will find a way to get it done with their kicker in a 3-point game to win it at US Bank Stadium against the New England Patriots.
I love that, even from a conspiracy theorist standpoint, Rudy. I love your
Of course
thing.
you do.
Because let's go back through the Patriots' wins in the Super Bowls. They're usually close.
Yeah.
They're almost always close. When did they roll anyone? They never did. There's never been a Patriots stomp the other team into oblivion Super Bowl.
Oh, no.
It's always last-minute heroics, Vinatieri kicks early on, then it was Tom,
right,
or the interception against the Seahawks.
Mm-hmm.
Or, I mean, it's always last-minute heroics, bro. The Falcons game. I mean, find me a New England win where they just stomped on someone like Seahawks did to Broncos or something.
No. And you're not going to find that. Why? Because the defense of the Philadelphia Eagles is the difference maker. They're going to do a lot of cover two. They're going to do a lot of cover in nickel, but they're going to probably play more man zone than anything. That means everybody has to understand their assignments. Gronkowski, number one assignment. Of course, he was cleared, and I said this earlier.
You know he's going to play in the Super Bowl.
You know he's going to play in the Super Bowl.
And he's Gronk.
He's not going anywhere but
He's
on the
beast,
field,
bro. How many
against
Super Bowls is he
Philadelphia.
going to be in, man? This is it. He knows this is as good a shot as any, dude.
He does, because he's receiving passes from Tom Brady. Look, I'm not a Tom Brady fan. I'm not going to glorify anything that he had done on the football field or what have you, but I will say this. He's a beast. Is he the GOAT? Maybe if he eats hay. But he's not.
No, he's the GOAT of deflated football. No. But from a conspiracy standpoint, tell me that a 3-point win at the buzzer, Rudy, either way, doesn't bode well for advertisers, doesn't bode well for viewers.
It doesn't bode well in Vegas either.
In.
Doesn't bode well in Vegas.
But those lines and odds can shift like that.
Oh, yeah, easily.
And this might be a rope-a-dope, to use the Ali term there,
boy,
by Vegas.
go.
I just
Football
mean, dude,
rope-a-dope.
tell me, if we get to this point on Sunday night, you know I'm going to be on Twitter like, Rudy, I cracked the Da Vinci Code. I told you. Dude.
I'm going to call you Tom Hanks.
Because it's always, like we said, whether we're talking about sports, whether we're talking about politics, whether we're talking about a marriage, follow the money. Follow the money, folks. I swear, it's the easiest litmus test for anything in life. Why did something happen? Why? Why did this turn out the way it did? Why did this unjust thing seemingly happen? One question you must ask yourself. Where does the money go? Where does the money trail go? And then from there, why would the money want this to go this way? Why would the money want it to go this way? And I think for New England, there are a lot of reasons why they'd want the money to go this way. Like I said, the NFL's got a damaged reputation because of them. And you know that the battle that went on between Goodell and Kraft and Brady,
that's where I was
those
go
people
with that.
all want that to go, and then they're holding hands and kumbaya.
You know what?
They want that.
I think it already is. I believe it truly already is. I think Roger Goodell is already made up with Robert Kraft as well as Bill Belichick. And so, you know what? Are we friends again?
I think they're saying, guys, we need to make this happen so we all look better. I think Goodell came to them and said, no more fighting. We gotta make this happen. You know, I'm Geppetto. I can make it happen, dude. Let's pull these strings. Let's make it happen.
So now Belichick is the new Geppetto.
He's on the outside. He's like Pinocchio's broken nose out there. Like he's out like the broke off part of the nose, dude. He's just out there like, I can't grow anymore. He's ghost.
So Goodell is the one with the wood glue. Okay, I understand this. Now we're on to something. Yes. We're trying to prove a broken nose, trying to save face.
Okay, let's talk Eagles, though. We got to talk Eagles.
Okay.
We've bagged on Patriots enough. Eagles, Carson Wentz, will he come back? That is the biggest question that any fan of the Eagles should ask themselves because, of course, Nick Foles is not the long-term fix.
Look, Carson Wentz helped them get to this point. There is no way. There is no way. I don't care if Nick Foles won a Super Bowl or not.
He's not going to leave.
Carson Wentz will be back with the Eagles, and Knowles,
They should just go ahead and let Carson do the long-term healing process. Mm-hmm. Don't rush him. Do not start in week 1, Doug Peterson. Hold on to Nick. If Nick needs to go get paid, fine. Bring in another Nick-like guy to just hold it down, another Case Keenum-like guy to just hold it down.
You have 3 quarterbacks, just like the Vikings. You get another guy for development, stick him on practice squad, and there you go.
And just wait on Carson Wentz. If it takes a year, whatever, burn that year.
Exactly.
It's worth it.
Exactly. Go get a quality backup because there are records or excuse me, not records per se, but there are contracts that are expiring with those quarterbacks that have solid records, decent records, in the backup capacity. Knowles, a backup, obviously now starting in a Super Bowl, and I think he probably feels 10,000 times better than probably any quarterback who's not in the Super Bowl this year,
right?
Not named Tom Brady. So you get a quality free agent backup quarterback, and there are some. You allow Wentz to maximize. I completely agree with you. Allow him to maximize, get better no matter what it takes. If you lose a couple, if he's not ready.
Look no further than Luck. We've talked about Luck on this show before.
Boy.
Look no further than Luck. Look no further than Luck. That was a really, really, really big upside guy. And the way you mismanaged him through his rehabs, it kept rushing him back. It made him hurt worse. And now Luck may never be the guy he ever was again.
You're right.
Messed up
you
his
can
arm.
thank Chuck Pagano for that. But that's why Chuck Pagano's gone from Indianapolis.
But I'm saying, don't let the Andrew
force
Luck
it. Don't rush it.
syndrome happen
Totally
with Carson Wentz, because I think Carson Wentz is a better quarterback than Luck ever was, even when he wasn't hurt.
Well, the problem, and again, we've talked about this before, that Andrew Luck's offensive line is horrible. The pressure on the edges, pressure in the middle, it's just a horrible offensive line. That's the reasons why he threw and took the hit time after time after time.
And granted, I'm critical of Wentz for this. You obviously need to learn this lesson, Carson, because I was saying this to you earlier.
He's a rookie. Of course he's going to learn.
I was doing the whole compare and contrast when I watched them play the Rams when he got hurt. The compare and contrast between Jared Goff, who went number one, and then Wentz going number two. And I keep saying to myself, why, when Wentz seems to be not only better in this game, but better in just about every game I've ever seen the highlights of him in or watched him in.
Right.
Jared Goff is getting better. And I'm a Rams fan. I love Goff. But Goff's got a lot of problems. Goff's got a lot of issues we got to fix before I would call Goff, the Super Bowl champion caliber quarterback that I already see flashes of Carson Wentz putting out there this year. But the two things that came to me, size. Jared Goff is 6'3" and 200 and something pounds. Carson Wentz is 6 foot barely and 200 pounds soaking wet. When he went headfirst into the end zone, Carson, you got to learn, bro. Yeah. You're not a big dude. You will never be a big dude. That was a gutsy heart play, but it's a dumb long-term play. You got to think about Super Bowls. You cost your guys you out there for that Super Bowl, and I guarantee you got Tommy Brady on the other side of the ball. And they got deflated footballs. Carson, you need to be out there.
Look, he's not going to be the one filling them up with air. So we're going to take this to a whole nother level, and then we're going to close out. Knowles will look as good as he has in the regular season, tomorrow's Super Bowl matchup against the New England Patriots. I give their defense props. But don't forget, I've said it before, that the ugly bug of not being able to cover in man, they looked horrible from the onset of the season. That could be the case if they get the right mismatch. If the Eagles can create that mismatch, they can get it done.
Right.
They can do it with Aguilar. They can do it with a number of people to get the mismatch in the formation. It's all about formation. It's all about design play calls.
Well, I like their receivers, even with Foles. I got to say, he's won me over. Foles makes smart passes. He doesn't get too big for his britches, but he'll still hit that home run throw every once in a while.
He does.
Alshon Jeffrey's a good receiver. I see a lot of things to be enthused about for Eagles fans.
Absolutely. If they can, again, create the mismatch, be accurate with the throws, get the right play calls in there with the right time, call an audible when you need to shake things up a little bit,
right,
you're going to find yourself in the end zone a lot more often than I think Patriots fans are counting on them to do. This is a no-name defense, except for maybe one or two guys, because the New England Patriots will not pay top dollar for any defensive player or offensive player for that matter, other than offensive line.
Well, except for your boy James Harrison.
Anyway, I'm not going to go
James
there.
Harrison, dude, they're interviewing him, during media week.
Right.
Boy, he looks like the captain ate the canary. Hey, James, I hope you're proud of yourself, man. I hope you're proud.
He wanted to play. Steelers weren't doing it. A team that now going to the Super Bowl, and they were already on their way.
I said it to you, man. I said it to you. There are lots of ways you can go if you're going to jump from one team to another.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go for, the whole Brett Favre, where you go straight to the enemy. And I had a Packers fan just go off on me, and it was a woman. And she was livid. And this wasn't a severe-looking woman. This was a beautiful lady. Just went off on me. because I tried to defend Brett Favre going to the Vikings. Now, I said earlier, LeBron James, I just defended. You can go wherever you want, and you're a grown-up. And, of course, we would all, if we were in their position, want to go. But here's where I'll make the one exception there. If you go to the direct, bitter rival, James Harrison, you didn't just go anywhere. You went to the enemy, sir. And you knew that. They were the enemy until the moment they weren't.
Yep, you're right.
Pittsburgh fans will never forgive you. It is a different thing. It's not like you went to the Rams. It's not like you went to the Jags. It's not like you went somewhere else.
But the difference is that analysts and coaches and anybody else who's not a fan respect that move. I respect the move.
I respect Brett Favre going to the Vikings. That's why I said that to this woman. I go,
absolutely.
He goes to a squad with Adrian Peterson, and they got
and
she goes, it's karma. You go to the rival, you get what you get. And granted, when did he strike out? Same game that these Vikes always strike out in. The big one. The one before the one. They always strike out in that championship game, dude. But I will say, to their credit, and I will give this lady credit all these years later, Lindsay, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry your feelings that day. Because I understand. If it's the bitter rival, James Harrison, you didn't just go anywhere, bud. If you had gone to any other playoff team, you were on the Eagles right now when you made it, and I don't even think that Pittsburgh fans would be that bad. And that's the other side of the state.
Yeah,
and they probably still wouldn't even be that bad. They'd probably be rooting for you vicariously because it's still Pennsylvania.
Right, because you're still in PA. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Tucker Booth. Tucker, man, hey, thanks for coming on the show. Fantastic segment.
Rudy, I think we did it today. I think we've officially vanquished the Patriots' legacy.
Let's see if the Eagles have the same sentiments, if they can get it done on the field on Super Sunday tomorrow.
If the Patriots win, I'm going to be on Twitter tomorrow like I'm Julian Assange. I'm going to be on there doing my Tucky leaks all day like, you see, we are legion. We will never go away, Patriots. An asterisk on every ring.
Oh, boy, here we go. Anyway, this is Tucker Dale Booth, Rudy Reyes right here on the Rude Dog Show. It's been fantastic having Tucker on. And, of course, it'll be posted right here on the Rude Dog Show. Make sure you check that out. We posted on SoundCloud. Throw me a follow at Rude Dog Reyes. Go to @TuckerDaleBooth. That's a long way to go, but hey, it's still a Twitter name everybody respects.
TDB Music, #TDB Music, or TantrumNiche.com, Tantrum NICHE.com. Free music, everything on there.
There you go. Busy. There you go. Hey, thanks a
Rudy,
lot.
Man, thank you so much. #AnyoneButPats2018. Follow me. It's out there. Yeah, I'm going to be watching golf at the same time as the Super Bowl. If the Pats get ahead, I guarantee you I'm going to be watching the Phoenix Waste Management Open instead. Go
Fair enough.
Waste Management. Hey, Rudy, by the way, one last question.
Go ahead.
Waste Management is the sponsor of this week's golf tournament.
Correct. I've seen that.
Aren't they the mafia? Isn't Waste Management the mob, dude?
Unless you're wasted and your name is Guido. I don't know.
I could have sworn that's just basically like a cover for, body exhumation.
Well, they do dump stuff into, receptacles, and they have their own dumps. Yeah.
I think the Waste Management Open is fueled by dead bodies. I think that's where the grass is coming from, dude.
Well, it's all about fossil fuel.
Nice. Rock on. Okay. Go golf.
Thanks for tuning in.
Peace out.
Take care.